Welcome to Sage Sisters. We are sisters, besties, moms, and co-founders having a fun catch-up on parenting and life. Hey, I'm Ann.
And I'm Kate. Welcome to the Sage Sisters podcast.
This will be a fun one today. I am excited about the topic because it's deeply inspired from the national championship game last night.
Oh my gosh, I was going to talk to you about that. I'm so still pumped up about it.
I know, where IU won against University of Miami in football. And the quarterback of IU, the story behind it, which we'll get into, is just so charming and so delightful and wholesome, and also such a great comeback story, and it's inspiring. So I wanted to kind of have our whole topic be about inspirational stories and overcoming obstacles. And, you know, you and I are both from Indiana. Now, I went to Purdue, so it's hard to say this on a podcast where this will live forever, but I was rooting for IU for the first time in my life.
Of course. I went to Ball State, but I help advise the IU business school.
Of course you do. Cool.
So I've been cool. KUWL, cool. No, but I feel an affinity towards Indiana University. I'm helping. Totally. I'm in there.
Well, and they're not they have not notoriously been a football season before. Our football school. They've never won the national championship in history of the whole school.
They've been terrible at football.
Been terrible.
So
okay. Yeah, I don't know who wasn't rooting for them last night. Even some Miami fans on some of the comments of stories I was watching was like, it was hard not to root for them given everything. Like, and I'm a Miami fan.
It had Cinderella energy. So yes.
Yeah, we'll get back to that. But I am excited about the topic because it feels inspiring.
Yeah. Well, and I think you and I in our own lives are open to sharing truly like honest moments of low that we've had to kind of bounce back from. So we'll weave that into. And I love the angle of like, how do you teach this to your kid? How do you inspire your kid? I don't know. So
These are the stories that I have shared and will continue to share with our kids. Yeah. It's just they're feel good. Okay. Love it. Well, let's get into it. Do you want to start first with your high?
Sure. I had a really lovely last minute get together with the neighbors for the Niners game. Now,
it didn't go your way.
I was going to say on the quick low, I got my heart broken by the Niners and the Bears this weekend. But you know how you just like last minute put together a casual, just come over night? And
the best.
It was really fun. And I thought you would be particularly excited because one of the reasons it was so lovely was I did your apple crisp Olipop bourbon drink.
I was so excited to get your text when you were asking for the recipe. And of course I cracked my knuckles and was like, of course.
Yeah. Well, I felt like that really took the party up to another dimension. Everyone was getting a little tips, which was very fun.
But it's like such a good tasting, you know, I could go on for days again, but it's like a refreshing, great tasting, fun, but easy cocktail.
I'm committed to that one. I liked it a ton. That helped. Yeah. We just ordered pizza though for food. I'm not much of a chef and Chris wasn't feeling like spending his afternoon in the kitchen. So I was like, you know what? Who cares? Let's just order some pizza. And then for Appies, I literally here's my new trick. I'm not a good cook like you are. I just cut up a bunch of stuff. That's what, know, cut up some fruit for the kids.
Listen,
cut
fruit
up some
tastes
veggies.
better when somebody else cuts it. Veggies taste better when somebody else cuts it.
And I'll stand by this, and I mean it. There's no better appetizer in the world than a bag of Ruffles and a French onion dip.
So true. You know what? I was just having a conversation with Phil last night. We've been on this health kick now how many days? You know, I had to break it a little bit last night is my point. So I made this delicious chicken noodle soup and then we had a work call, which we'll get into. But I came back and the soup was gone. I was so excited that they loved it, but there was no soup for mom. So I was a little
After you made it.
Yeah, I was like trying to eat some of the kids, like, you know, some of the leftover in the bowl. But anyways, long story short, I didn't have dinner and I put the kids to bed and I was like, I want white trash nachos. It's the best. So we had a little bit of tortilla chips left over from the holidays and I shredded my own cheese over them and microwaved them. Perfection.
That's not that. I was going to say, it's white trash when you already have the sprinkled cheese and you just throw it on. The fact you were grating it yourself takes it up one
It's
notch, I
still the
think.
same though. I guess it took it up a notch.
Mhm. Now, did you
Anyways.
put anything else on it? Jalapeno,
No, I needed
salsa?
nothing else. And then I
Yeah.
laid back and I laid it on my stomach as I was
Oh,
watching the
yeah.
game,
That's filth. That's
which
filth.
yeah, it felt more filthy in all the right ways. It was great.
I'm just saying, I've been sleeping on Ruffles and a French onion dip, and
Yeah, those are good. It's just like the classic go-to. You can't mess them up.
we needed nothing else.
Yeah.
You know, we had a couple token veggies you could do in the French onion dip.
Yeah.
But it was mostly Ruffles for me.
And listen, everybody comes over and they're like, "Oh, I want the veggies," and all of a sudden the Ruffles are the first to go. You know, everybody wanted it.
Well, it made us feel good that we put a couple cucumbers on the kids' plate while they ate pizza.
Of course, sometimes I even like to layer the chips with the cucumber inside of it.
What kind of chips? Oh, the Ruffles?
Yeah, the ruffled chips,
Cucumbers?
and then you have a
Ew.
cucumber in the middle. Too far?
I'm out on that. You always ruin good food with a cucumber.
No, I don't. Never once have I even said anything about a cucumber.
I don't know. You're the type of person who's trying to tell me zucchini noodles taste just like spaghetti noodles. Like that's kind of your brand.
Spaghetti squash does. Okay, back off.
Back off. Sick. Okay.
Mm.
So yeah, we had a lovely little get together, a little party.
I love that for you. It is the best when, you know, you have kind of established months ago the no prep dinner party or just like hang out. It really does. When it comes together, it's so nice. And
we used to call them crappy dinner parties just to like brand it.
Now,
which means you just can't try too hard. You can't be stressed trying to scrub your house.
Yeah.
You can't, you know, cook a full roast turkey chicken or something. It's like, it's just the lowest of efforts.
Now, you may not like me for this, but we're supposed to get snow in Nashville, you know, and of course it might not hit, but everyone's like, the winter storm's coming, you know, we're supposed to get 12 inches in one day. Yeah, exactly. The winter vortex. Anyways, I went to the store because we were out of things, but I got some things for soup and, you know, all of the things. So
did you buy them out of toilet paper?
No, I mean, a reasonable amount. No, I wasn't like survival mode, but I did get stuff for the pantry that I could pull out. And it's kind of an anticipation for having our neighbors over if school gets called out or if it's super snowy. It's fun to have people over to our house. So I prepped for the crappy dinner party that I hope to have when snow hits. Is that allowed?
Not if you're buying supplies and making homemade soups. You're out on that. I'm saying crappy dinner parties, you order pizza and you don't clean your home.
Pizza Guy can't drive in this kind of weather we're going to get here in Nashville. It's the vortex.
Okay. Yes. Fair enough.
I also am, just to take it one step further and then I'll stop talking.
Okay.
I made my own sourdough pizza crust last week and it was so good. So I'm doing that again too. So
Tell me all about your sourdough. I can't wait.
So I can have homemade sourdough pizza and homemade soup for the crappy dinner party.
This sourdough is becoming your entire personality. It is hard to be around.
You had hoped it for me to have a hobby, so here we are.
I know. I regret what I asked for.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay. And what's your high?
My high was, so, you know, when the kids hit a little milestone, even if it's small, it's the cutest. Lola has been wanting her ears pierced for a while, and I am not against it. We had to wait till 13. Our mom put a weird stance in and just said 13 and then stuck with it forever. So I wasn't that, but I said to her, I want you to get it done the right way, which means at a tattoo place with a needle. Like, we're not going to go get the gun because I've had that done and it didn't go well for me every time. So if you can handle a needle going through your ear and then you can handle taking care of it, you know, you can let me know. And so she pushed it off. And then finally she came last week and was like, I'm ready. And we talked about it.
Yeah.
And her rationale, which was so funny, is she loves to throw her brother under the bus. But she was like, listen, I can handle it. She goes, when we go and get shots, I'm the brave one. I get the shot, no problem. She goes, Ace, he can't get his ears pierced. Not that he would, but he can't handle a shot. You know, she goes, I'm the brave one. I'm like, you are. So anyways, we got her ears pierced and she has been just feeling herself and it's really cute.
I love the stories they start to believe about themselves, though. I'm the brave one.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be amazing for her.
Totally. She's the brave one. But I will say, when we went to the tattoo place, and right before her, we were in line waiting, and there was a girl in the chair, and she was I don't know, 20 something. And she was getting like the inner ear and
Mm,
like the top really chunky part like inside
yeah.
your ear, and the pain on her face when they were putting the needle in, it looked horrific. And Lola's watching it looking at me, and I was like, she's doing something completely different. You are getting just a basic earring. She's going like the most painful you could probably get. But she stuck with it. She was still brave.
It's so funny because I remember when Grace asked if she could get her ears pierced, the first reaction is always like whatever your mom told you. Like my first reaction was like, no, we're waiting until 13. And then comes the why,
Yeah.
and then you have to take a beat and be like, is this something I care about? And I felt the same way.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Like, you can take care of it. I
Yeah.
don't have an issue. And I think she's old enough now. She's a mature 7.5, but like she will take care of this
She'll
on
be
her own.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll be totally fine. Grace was totally fine.
Yeah.
Even though, she has eczema, we had to be real careful, and it was still good.
Yeah.
I will say we had a funny experience. Ours is called Zebra, and it is like everyone's tatted up out the wazoo, and it's got like a burlesque pictures and decor energy at the place. I'm sure you can picture it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we go, and Grace was she hadn't seen anything quite like that,
Yeah.
And she loved all the people there and their tattoos. She couldn't get over it. And then I remember her asking, can I get some of these pictures in my room? And it was like,
what was that? Like, Kat Von D? Like Kat Von D type? Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, that would be a negative ghostwriter.
Yeah,
like,
that's hilarious. Yeah. Well, I thought this whole conversation led to something funny because we were talking about how the people had tats and a lot of piercings. And it led to the kids asking about Phil's tattoos. So Phil, my husband, has a decent amount of tattoos.
Yep.
And some regretful, some not. And so we led into that conversation, which was like, he didn't start until he was 18. You live with it your whole life. And I recently saw, it was not an article because, I don't read, but it was like a reel or something. But it was talking about how the younger generation is actually moving away from tattoos and drinking. And so like it may not be cool to get tattoos when our kids are, in the age that they might try, which I thought was interesting. And it felt right. But anyways, it was funny because then we went through all of Dad's tattoos, and Lola was like, well, why do you have a ballerina on your back? And he's like, it's not a ballerina, it's a Dave Matthews, like with the fire
he
dancer.
Regrets that. He regrets that. Dave
he was like, it's a fire dancer. And she's like, it looks like a headless ballerina. And he was like, it's a fire dancer.
That was a moment in time. You never want to go with something too trendy. Note to self, Phil. Note to self.
Anyways, it was very funny.
All right. Well, let's get into lows real quick.
Yeah, what'd you love?
Yesterday was Martin Luther King Day, and Chris and I had a lot of work to do, and the kids did not have school. And that is a special hell.
Yeah.
It's just, I am, I don't know. I just, there's no good solution. We took them to a place to kind of babysit them for a few hours, but they were around here. They wanted to hang with us. They wanted to do stuff. And I felt that like god awful tension of like, I really have work to do.
Yeah.
And I also really don't want you sitting on the couch doing nothing. And I don't know. I hate that. It was a low. It happens hard, a couple times a year.
It's hard when you can't take off work. Now, some people were able to not work. And, we are flexible, but we still have a lot going on right now.
Yeah.
And it's just hard because you feel guilty when you shouldn't, and your kids want to play as they should. And it's a lose-lose. It really is. And I'll tell you, the amount of, I'm getting into puzzles, I guess, because Lola, everybody likes puzzles, but the amount of puzzles that we're doing is a lot. And it's better than Barbies, the imaginary. We always say, like, I've never been good at playing imagination, like that type of stuff. And I like puzzles, but I think I'm on my puzzle limit,
Mm-hmm. How many you got going? I mean, how many?
We had every day we were doing a new puzzle.
Okay.
And we got Lola a puzzle mat for Christmas. And
does that thing actually work? I'm curious.
It's kind of nice to lay it out and flatten. I haven't figured out a way to roll it up and keep it when you're not finished with the puzzle. If somebody knows that, tell me. But it's nice because it lays out on the table and all the pieces can be on it. So it's easier to do the puzzle. And keep it organized and flat, but I haven't figured out a way to roll it up mid puzzle.
And not break it into a million pieces.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
So,
yeah, that is defied logic. So
yeah. So anyways.
All right. I gotta know what the heck your low means.
Well, it's
That
really
stumps me.
funny because what I have is the words that Kate was reading with confusion. Just say a series of unfortunate events followed by paint, dinner, finger cut, dog, hair and mouth gag, work call, which is what happened to me last night. So we had a late work call because we were talking to somebody in a different country, and the call was at 6:30 p.m. Ace and Phil were at baseball practice, so I had the girls to myself, and I was like, I had the soup going. I'll feed them real fast. I had Lola going with like, I'll give you a couple bucks if you watch your sister. I set up a movie. I was just like, entertain yourself for 30 minutes during this call. And 20 minutes before the call, what happened was the girls were doing a lot of artwork, and Lily and Lola were very cute, but I had them set up and they were painting. And it was the washable paint, but you know how that can get out of hand too. So Birdie, our dog, who's a white golden retriever, was sitting under Lily while she was painting, and I wasn't really paying attention. So long story short, I'm cleaning up the paint separate. Then I feed the girls the soup. So I'm giving them the soup, and I start noticing paint appearing everywhere in the house as I'm walking around doing things. And it's like blue and purple, like really dark paint. And so when it's on the wood floor, I could wipe it up. And I'm like, how did paint get over here? And then I look and it's on the playroom rug. And when it was on the rug, it's really hard to get off. The washable is really ruining my rug still. So then I start to notice, and I look over at our dog Birdie, and her whole back is covered with blue and purple paint. And she's rolling around because it's bothering her or something. No. So everything she's doing is rolling around. So I put her in the bathroom temporarily because we have this call and I don't have time to wash her yet. And I'm like, please stop making a mess. I come back and the girls are like, can we have some sourdough bread? I'm like, sure. So I start cutting the sourdough bread, cut my finger. So now I'm bleeding.
No.
I've got pain everywhere. I start to get like a Band-Aid, but it's kind of aggressive bleeding.
Oh boy.
Anyways, I get the girls set up. We're about 10 minutes out from this call, and I'm like, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. So I'm scrubbing the rugs, trying to get the paint, or at least setting some soap on it so it won't settle and I can deal with it after the call. And then I'm hungry, and I like look over as I'm putting Lola's bowl away, and I'm like, I'll just take a couple bites of what she left over. And I start to feed myself bites from her, and she must have gotten a hairball and put it in her food that she was no longer eating, because Hold on, a
hairball from the dog or
her. It was a human hair, but I started to eat her leftovers and realized that she must have somehow decided there was like hair, and then when she was done with it got put in this food. So I'm eating hair and gagging.
Ew. Yeah.
And I literally pull a whole hair out of my mouth, and then I start puking in the sink. And then we have this work call. So I come to the work call all flustered. I'm still bleeding. I've got paint all over my house, and the girls are so low, but I have not settled them. And I was just like, here we go.
Hot mess. It was honestly, I had no clue that had just happened. I thought you showed up like a real professional.
I'm so glad, because of the whole couple minutes, I was just like, I want to tell them everything that happened, but we don't know this guy. It's not going to land.
Too soon. It's too soon. To tell him you just gagged on a human hairball. Yeah. Yeah, that's not a good way to start a partnership.
And I'm still cleaning up the paint today. I had to give Birdie a bath last night. It was just like, it was just all the things, but I died. It was like the most unfortunate events in a 20-minute period of time, and the worst time it could have happened yesterday.
Yeah. I do have a no paint inside rule. It started with we don't have a dog, but a similar mess. And I was just like, it's garage only for paints. And I set up a table out there I don't care about.
Yeah.
They don't like going out there because it's cold, so they don't paint a lot. But I'm like, whatever. I'm not.
I'm going to have to implement it. It was yesterday I felt guilty while I was working. Do your thing and have some fun with some kits we got at Christmas. And it went awry. So now I'm going to have to pull back again.
Regroup.
Anyways.
Oh my gosh. Hilarious. I had no idea.
It was pretty funny. And again, it's like people don't know what moms deal with and try to work at the same time. It's like, you don't know what we're coming in on. So be kind to everyone, you know?
You don't have all the context. No, I would have been one of those Mad Libs where it's like, make a story with these words. I don't know if I could have got there.
Paint, dinner, finger cut, dog, hair and mouth, gag, work call. Now you understand it.
Now I understand. Now I got it.
All right.
All right.
Well, do you have anything on your mind, or shall we just get into the topic?
Well, I wrestled with whether I should bring this up or not, but I thought it might be something that a lot of other people are dealing with. But my daughter's 9.5, and I've just noticed like more tween energy. And I had a friend over a couple weeks ago, and her daughter's the same age.
Mm-hmm.
And she was just saying, you know, some of them, I wouldn't call it bullying. I would call it kind of like mean to each other friendship stuff.
Okay.
Or like maybe even not that, but like a little drama. Like, oh, so-and-so, you know, all this stuff. And like I noticed after the basketball game yesterday, she was like frustrated at people for the first time. And I was like, you know, it's just it was more dramatic than it needed to be.
Yeah.
And then you know, we have Sage Haven, which is our safer messaging app. And she was messaging her friend. And I noticed that the tone of the message was like so dramatic, you know, like what she was talking about. And she wasn't like specifically saying anything about any one person, but like she was having her feelings and it was like pouring out. So
yeah,
I think on one hand, not to like plug our business too hard, but like it was really good for me to be able to like kind of witness and see from my own phone how she was communicating. And then I think it like teed up some conversations later at night about, you know, how do you deal with it when you're super annoyed with your friends? Or how does it make you feel when you get excluded or when somebody says something that's not super nice to you, which kind of is what set it off. So it's like, I don't know. We're just getting to this new tween phase. And I will say I was so grateful for Sage Haven because I was able to like see it and sort of nip it in the bud early and like be able to have a different conversation, sort of coach her up about like,
how to handle.
Yeah. And it's like, and there's always just this like, well, this girl's not very nice. Do I need to invite her to this thing?
Right.
And it's so tricky. I don't know. How do you feel about that? Are you on team not everybody needs to be friends with everybody, or are you on team?
Here's what I'll say is we are dealing with this a little early. You know, we're already there.
Lola's mature.
Totally. And girls are just completely different. With my son, we did not have this friend drama that I'm already seeing. And it's mild. Like we are not in the hard stuff yet, I will say. But we have coached our kids to be open and express their feelings to their friends. Because we're like, if you are feeling this, they might be feeling this, you know? We had a situation where Ace heard through the grapevine that somebody said they didn't like him. And I don't even think it's true. But we said, well, just address it with your friend, you know? Like just ask him, you know, are we good? And you don't need to go further than that. And you know, they were good according to the conversation. But it's like it made him feel better and at least he was open with it. And it's like, you know, I don't know. Try to be open.
Cool. All right, let's get to the topic. Do you want to tee it up since it's yours?
Yeah. So basically, again, we alluded to this, but the quarterback of IU, Fernando Mendoza, is a true delight story where, you know, first of all, just take a step back. His family and all of the coverage they're getting is very wholesome and charming. His parents are very loving. His mother has MS. She's been in a wheelchair at the games. His dad does things like doesn't stand to celebrate and sits next to the mom so they can celebrate together. You know, he goes immediately over to hug them and talk to them, you know, shout them out in speeches. He's just a very class act, if you will. So you're rooting for him in a lot of different ways. And then you hear the backstory, which is he grew up in Miami and his whole dream was to go to University of Miami and he played to play football. And he basically got asked to say, you can be a walk-on, but we're not going to give you a scholarship. And he believed in himself and said, and this is his words in interviews, like, I was betting on myself. So I decided to go somewhere else because I knew I could play at that level. And he did. And he ended up last night playing against University of Miami, which is like, you can't write this better.
No.
And he was in Miami, in his hometown. And he I mean, he's just obviously an outstanding player, but he proved everyone in Miami, like he basically gave him a middle finger without having to. He did it in the most class act way. And
he won the Heisman, which is the number one award of a college football player. And IU, which has been a perennial loser at football, I always say this about Caitlin Clark too. It's one thing to win a national championship for women's basketball at UConn.
Right.
It is another to be that competitive at an Iowa. You know?
Totally.
I feel like that about Mendoza. It's like, it's one thing to be that good if you went to Ohio State or, you know, if you're at Alabama.
Yeah.
But to do it at IU, you badass, you absolute baddie. Like,
totally. And he did it with a smile on his face and politeness. And they were like, they ended up, I guess, with the game last night winning 16-0. They had an undefeated season. He just was lights out in the game last night. It was just like so epic. It was like, oh my gosh. Like, and to hear the background of like, he did this. So we were talking to Ace about this, you know, because it was like, he eats this stuff up. But it's like, people did not believe in him. And he believed in himself, and he was able to accomplish what he did. And like, how cool is that of a story? So I've just been like,
Chris was kind of laughing at me. I am such a softie on a sports story arc. Totally. But there was a moment in the third quarter where they were 4th and 5 with like, let's call it 10 yards to go to a touchdown. What you should have done if you like study football strategy is kick a field goal. Like, it is not at all guaranteed on a 4th and 5 you're going to get a first down. They gave it to Mendoza. He did this crazy athletic run, dove into the end zone, and I was on the couch and I had a tear. And Chris goes, but Chris goes, no, you're not crying over there. And I was like, no, I'm not. I was so inspired.
It was an insane play. Even if you don't watch football, you will see this clip going viral because it will be the most epic play of all time. It was so ballsy. And he like basically like spun and almost fell and like dove into the end zone and took 2 hard hits and still kept going. It was like nothing was stopping him in that moment. He was getting... And he could have just gotten a first down, but he went for the touchdown. It was just like epic. It was really just, I mean, it was gutsy. So it makes you like him even more. I love that you were tearing up. It was so good.
Oh, of course I teared up. And I will say, I don't know when it switched, but for a while I could watch college sports and picture myself as the college athlete.
No, now you're picturing me as the parent.
I'm the mom. Now I'm the mom. I don't know when that happened. Sometime recently, but I was like really relating to his sweet mom. And they were over there so proud. They kept flashing to him, but I was just like, you know, thinking of my own kids playing college sports.
Same. I literally was telling the story to Ace.
Yeah.
And I think I leaned a little heavy on and he always goes over and hugs his mom, and he like thanked her in the speech and was so nice to his mom. And so Ace was like, you know, like if I ever get to that level, I'll thank you. And I was like, okay, oops, it's not quite as cool if I walked you into it, but
no, it is. It's the kind of brainwashing we need. I'm here for that all day, every day.
Anyways, I thought it would be really kind of cool to take that inspiration from his story and talk about things in our own life and a few others. Like, look, I think it's more important to talk about our personal stories. There's obviously the like Michael Jordan of it all, which the same thing happened to Michael Jordan, where it's like he didn't make the varsity team in high school. Yeah. And then yet he becomes Michael Jordan. Like there's a couple of these story arcs in history, and we just happened to witness one last night, which was so epic.
Will say I do think of that Michael Jordan flu game. That's my Roman Empire. I think of that like every couple weeks.
You might want to elaborate on it for people who don't know.
He played one of his best games of all time, sick as a dog. Like clearly dehydrated, puking, and went out. I forget how many points he has, but he was so dominant. And I remember my childhood watching it in real time.
Yeah.
And nothing has ever like carved a memory harder. Totally. But literally every time I'm doing anything physical, and this is like me now jogging 1 mile and struggling. I'm like, Michael Jordan with the flu did it. You know,
totally.
Keep your feet moving. But it was just so ingrained, that sort of like, you know.
Well, and I think the one more recently, but still in the past, was Steph Curry too. So he had his breakout at March Madness. And what was his college? You know this. It was
Davidson.
Davidson. Yeah. So at the time, they were kind of nobody. And he had this epic March Madness where he was just lighting up threes, and everybody was like, who is this kid? And his whole story was that everyone was like, you're too small to go big. Like, you will never make it. And obviously, Steph Curry is like one of the greatest basketball players in the NBA right now.
I'm sure you've seen that commercial, but I think it's one of the best commercials of all time, where it's showing his NBA highlights, but he's reading his college scouting report, which is too small.
Yeah.
All the things. It's so powerful.
It really is. And it's like, again, to witness one in real time last night, a story similar, the best. So maybe
what about your personal ones? Or do you want me to kick it off?
Yeah, why don't you kick it off?
Well, I might be a little cliche here, starting with a sports one, but in high school, I was a highly recruited basketball player, and I was getting letters and interest and visits at my AAU games from, a lot of elite programs.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also a skinny little thing trying to like put on weight and like build up my body. And I don't know exactly what happened here in terms of like, I was lifting a bunch of weights. I don't know if I was doing it improperly or if just this was inevitable, but I ended up getting a bunch of stress fractures in my lower back that ended up preventing me from being able to compete the whole junior year AAU season and like half of the real season, which for those of you who know this world, that is the most critical recruiting season there is. So I went from being this like, top recruit to losing, dozens, hundreds of scholarships. Like it was really brutal. And I think that was the first time in my life that I feel like I experienced like a low, like a real low, like I was depressed.
Yeah.
I was just like, I worked so hard for this. I've been, and it's just like, I can't walk.
Yeah. Right.
And it physically hurt, but I was so devastated by that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like looking back at like who I've become, like over the arc, you always say this in hindsight, but it's like, it really changed my personality. One, it put a huge chip on my shoulder. Yeah. Like, I think like
which is still there today.
100%. But it's like, there's no entrepreneur out there that doesn't have some chip on their shoulder. Like someone told me you're not an entrepreneur till you got 100 people on your burn book. Like, it's like, you hate people. It's like, you're so motivated to prove people wrong.
Yeah.
But whatever that darkness was, like started in high school.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to prove wrong all these coaches who dropped their interest in me.
Yeah.
When I got hurt.
Yeah.
And I ended up going to Ball State, which was a pretty mid-major program, but had a great coach. And, I really liked the program and the vibe and the athletic director. And,
right.
And then when I signed with Ball State, the coach immediately left for a big program, which happens at mid-majors.
Yeah.
And I had some opportunities to play at bigger schools. And I decided, no, I'm going to like stick with Ball State, even though this wasn't exactly it. And honestly, we had a great run. It was, I don't want to get into all accolades, but I ended up being a little bit of a bigger fish in a smaller pond there. And, I have such affinity for Ball State. I'm now still active on, in the university in a bunch of ways.
Drive by the gymnasium, you'll see Kate's mural on the side.
Yeah. I'm like on the stadium. I don't know, but I have good fond memories. I made great friendships there. And I don't know. Like I sometimes play this out where it's like, okay, you get the number one school, you go there, you kind of like almost are in the middle of the
you're
pack.
On the bench. You don't play as much. Yeah.
Or like, I don't know, you just play it safer. Like, and I have friends that I later met in New York, and this is more in the finance world, but it was sort of like they followed the like steady Eddie path to, Ivy League school, New York Investment Bank, They did like just exactly what you were supposed to do to be successful in quotes. And it's like, they're a little bit afraid. They would never be entrepreneurs. It's too risky. It's not a smart way to make money. It's, you know what I mean? But it's like, it's safe.
Yeah.
There's something about this injury that like put a chip on my shoulder that sort of knocked me off of this course that I was on that I'm so freaking grateful for.
Yeah. Totally.
really think it like shaped me. And it's sort of like, I don't know, I think a defining part of my personality now of,
100%. Well, and
I'm going to defy the odds, and we're going to build businesses that, defy the odds.
yeah, it's like to just finish your story, yada yada yada. You were the big fish and that ended up getting drafted to go to the WNBA. It wasn't a long career, but you still made it there. It's like
Yeah.
you did what you were set out to do, which is accomplish and prove it to yourself that you could make it to that level, and you
Totally.
did. So I think
Yeah.
that's a good just like kind of cherry on top for that story. And I do think that is why, you have this burning desire to build something and prove people wrong. And that's what makes you so successful. And it's really cool to see from my perspective. And like, we always talk about like people, like, how is it to work with your sister and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, there's no one I trust more to really do the dirt to get to a successful level. Like, it's like, I trust you so much.
Do the dirt. Is that what
it was a weird way to say it. Get your hands dirty. You'll grind and I just believe in your passion and your desire to get to the next level. That it's like, we'll make this successful one way or another. You know what I mean? And like, I believe in you so much because I know how much drive you have within you.
One thing I'll just say now that I'm coaching my kids, now I'm on the other, I'm the Mendoza mom, not the athlete in the game here. But Grace had some free throws at the end of the game the other day. And she told me afterwards I was super nervous, even though, and it's like such a natural feeling to be nervous at the end of the game when the ball is in your hands.
Yeah.
And I told her the only way to get that feeling to go away is to practice so much that you believe in yourself. And then you repeat the mantra. Or this is what I told her. This was my mantra. One, I practiced enough till I knew I could make it. And then at the end of the game, the only thing I kept telling myself is, give me the ball.
Yeah.
Give me the ball. I want to take the shot because I know that I practice more than everybody else. I know it's safer in my hands than anybody else's.
Yeah.
And like, I deeply believe that. It's cocky, but it's like, I earned that cockiness because I was an insane practicer, if you will. Like I did the reps. So it's been very sweet to watch Grace absorb that information.
Yeah.
And like go outside and practice every day. It's like by herself. Like I'm not forcing her to go out there. She's the one going, Mom, are you done with work? Can you come shoot with me? And I hear the basketball dribbling upstairs and it's like, I don't know. I hope she can keep it up because that's what it takes.
Yeah. I quote this a lot in our household, but Pat Summitt, the University of Tennessee coach, women's basketball, it had a quote in an article recently about her own son who didn't like make the varsity team or something in basketball. And she basically said to him, I will give you all the tools. I will set you up on teams. I will sign you up for classes. I will work, get you the tools you need, but I'm not going to light your fire. And I love that because it's like, you've got to bring it. You've got to go out and practice on your own. You've got to light your own fire. If you want to do it, I will back you up with as much as I can do to help you get there. Yeah. But I'm not going to light your fire. If you don't have it, that's all, that's it. So I love that because it is true. It's like, you got to work. You got to do the things. And, I see it a lot with Ace right now. And I talk about it with Lola already. And Lily's a little small. But like, Ace has the drive right now. And he loves to practice. And he is pretty cool, calm, and collected with most sports, golf included, where he's out there and competing and he doesn't feel like he's nervous. But it's because we keep pushing, like, and maybe he will as he gets older. But it's like, just have fun. You're good at this. You like to do this. This is what you do every day. Like, just do what you do. Go out there and have fun. Like, I love it because you said to him right before Pinehurst, just go out there and be the athlete you were born to be. And he loves that line. So we kind of say that before every like tournament or something. We're like, just go out there and be the athlete you were born to be. Just have fun.
I love that.
And it's so cute. Yeah. So Anyways.
Well, it's kind of funny, like later in life, as I, have gotten into the business world and I'm responsible for hiring people, like I, of course, love a good athlete story, like someone who achieved excellence at something. And I broadened it. Doesn't need to be sports when I'm hiring for a business team, but I want to see excellence at whatever you chose to do. Is it a musical instrument? Is it dance? Is it whatever?
Right.
Or I have found the other thread that feels so similar in immigrants, which is you were not born into a country that gave you a bunch of opportunities. You fought like hell. You were the best in your high school class. You won a scholarship. You got the visa. You worked your ass off to get over here.
Yeah.
It's like whatever that thing is, that fire, it's like I see it in that story arc a lot. And I came to like really look for that. And like one of the things I always ask people when I interview them is like, what's the hardest thing you've overcome?
Yeah.
And like, I love that story. I love hearing
people's stories. Yeah.
People's stories. And if you have a week, I don't know, something that doesn't feel like that motivated, I won't hire you.
Yeah.
I'm like giving away all my secret sauce, but
tough but fair. No, I agree. I think it's the drive within that makes you elite in whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's one of yours?
Well, I hope you hire me.
Well, you're already in.
Just kidding. I honestly, the biggest one I can say is that in adulthood, I'm not going to go back to a sport or anything like that. I think my most recent story that I can go back to is I had a lot of people not believe in me from a career standpoint over the years. Some that really did, but it sticks with you. When one person doesn't believe in you, it sticks with me. And, I feel like in my career, I kind of got to a certain place and chose motherhood, as they would say. And I didn't really go past where they thought that I could go in the company. And because I couldn't get around the people that were above me, I chose to leave. I felt like there was no more for me to do. And I was there for like 13 or 14 years. And I never thought that I would leave, but I didn't feel like I was going to hit my peak capability with the company any longer because I felt like they had felt like I plateaued. And that's a really hard thing to
I get so frustrated by that because talk about a company that doesn't set women up to succeed.
Now,
like, period. Like, you chose motherhood. Of course you chose motherhood.
Right.
And there was no pathway for you to keep climbing after you said, I don't want to travel 5 times a month.
Right.
Like, WTF, in my opinion. So honestly, like from my eyes, first of all, you were on a very fast track. You ran huge teams in P&Ls. Like you did move up very quickly.
Right.
And the fact that you chose motherhood and they cut your legs out from you after everything that you had done and how successful you'd been to that point, honestly boils my freaking blood.
Well, and I think this story wasn't just mine. There were many people in the company that had a similar story. And I do think that they made a huge push, and there are people in upper management now pretty high up that are females. And I truly love a few of my mentors, and they have gotten past that to the point where they're very successful in the company.
But that's because they chose to travel. They chose to make different choices than you made. There was no pathway to support what I'm calling like an involved, low travel, early childhood years.
Yeah, right.
That wasn't an option.
Well, and I just think that there are some people in life who really believe in you. And I had a couple mentors that were that for me. And then there were a couple people that I got stuck under that did not believe in me. And it was obvious. And, the people, I had to pivot my mindset to be like, look at all the people who do believe in me. But where I was at the time was getting bitter about the people who didn't.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason it was hard for me to get past.
Almost always it's not even you. Almost always it's political. Right. Almost always they want some role in your competition. I mean, like, it's just, I hear this too, though, but it's like, you're right. And, maybe just your personality didn't jive with someone too. Like, that's possible as well.
Totally. And I just think that it's easier said than done, but it took me a lot of courage to actually walk away from that career and try to do something different. Mm-hmm. And, thereafter, there's been a couple bumps in the road, but I truly think that where I am today is I believe I have that fire to be an entrepreneur, to take this company to success because of some of those failures in quotations in the past. The people who didn't believe in me, the where I felt like I was plateaued in my career, the just overall, like, I don't want to, I did not want to be that bitter person working for the man who just felt like I was a number. And that happens
Mm-hmm.
so much. And so I'm just so grateful to be where I'm at now, because I'm building that confidence back up. And I feel like that drive is within now to kind of
Yeah.
be like, you know, almost like, watch me, see what happens here. And
Yeah.
I think I'm so grateful for making the change. And a lot of people get stuck in a job that they, it's maybe job security, and they don't take the risk. And there's a lot of reasons you can't take risk. And so I feel very grateful that I, was able to take the risk at the time. But you got to make a change, because if I was still stuck back in that mindset, I would be, I think, an unhappy person personally as well.
Yeah. Well, and not to go back to Mendoza, but it's like there's some people who would never take the chance at 4th and 5.
Totally. Yeah.
Like it takes a personality to be like, I believe in myself enough to go for this, sort of against the odds.
And I'm here for the realness to say it took me a while to get back. It hit me, and I had to build that confidence back up. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. But ultimately, believing in yourself wins out at the end.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure many of our listeners can relate to a boss who maybe just wasn't quite the right fit,
Right.
Didn't highlight all the strengths,
Mm-hmm.
liked things a very particular way.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can tell you, after I sold my company, and I have to be a little careful because I signed a bunch of gag orders, but culturally it just wasn't it wasn't a perfect fit.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't as entrepreneurial. They made decisions in a different way than I did. I did not feel aligned with a lot of the decisions that were made, and it was just like, there is this moment where you have to like have the confidence to be like, this isn't a good, healthy, amazing
not a good
fit for me. It's
Yeah.
like, I tell my kids, like, is this a friendship where your light's brighter or dimmer?
Yeah. Right.
And I was definitely feeling dimmed out over there. I was like, I got to get out of Dodge.
That's a great way of saying it. Totally. Well, and as we talked about what's on our mind with our own, like, kids going through friendships, I think we didn't bring that up. I think that's a beautiful sentiment. Am I getting brighter with this friendship or dimmer? And then that kind of helps them guide what is a healthy friendship. Mm-hmm. Same thing with work. I agree. So anyways, I'm very grateful for where we are today. And I just love hearing these stories, because I think it builds the fire within even more. And I just like love passing these down to the kids, because I want them to have that same fire. I do. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't want them to go through, it's not like I wish upon somebody not believing in them, but I want them to have that fire.
I got you a book for Christmas last year. What did it say on the cover? It was something like, because that was the year where we had first started Sage Haven, and you get rejected so much when you start a company and you start asking people for money. It's like literally 15 out of 16 are no's.
Yeah. Right.
Maybe even higher. Honestly, if I go back and look, it's like 24 out of 25 are no's. So you have to take 24 body shots before you get a check. Yeah. And I know in those early days you were like, gosh, like, are we right? Like, is this idea good? Is this, I think it makes sense, but like, how are all these smart people saying no?
Right. And everybody wants to pull coals and things, and I had to get used to that.
Yeah. It's not for the faint of heart. Yeah. But I got you a notebook that said something like people who doubted me and how that's going for them, or something like that.
That's exactly what it says. And I still have it on my desk, and I just love it, because it is true. I kind of, like, we always joke about our mother being able to hold a grudge. I kind of have a little Cindy grudge energy, where I have a little burn book for sure. And some people may not even know they're in there. And that's I think it's just like,
that's the passive aggressive attitude I'm vibing with.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. I just want everybody to believe in themselves and not be stuck in a situation that dims their light. I just really do. And I feel like sometimes in particular, women tend to just sit in that dimness longer. Mm-hmm. And
Because they're scared to take a risk.
Well, and it's hard. It's really hard to make a change. It's hard to step out. It's hard to believe in yourself when you've heard the opposite, or maybe you get to a point where you don't care. I don't know. It's just like,
well, women we're so critical of ourselves in,
yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like, you look in the mirror, there's a lot to like, but you see the one thing
right,
you don't like every single time you look in the mirror.
Yeah.
You know, like I cannot look in the mirror without looking at my jawline. Like I just can't. It's just how my brain is wired. Like,
yeah.
But if I were a man, I do not believe that would exist. Right. And like, I feel like the professional equivalent of that is like, in your career, you got 99 glowing reviews and people who would like go to war with you.
Yeah.
And you got one asshole who dimmed your light, you know, called you mousy or whatever. I still remember. You remember this guy? Anyways.
I can't even believe the word. I mean, anybody who listens to this podcast would laugh that I was mousy on one of my reviews.
Yeah, he was an insecure and very threatened. But yeah, but my point is, what do you remember more?
The mousy comment. Yeah, it stuck with me. Yeah. It's just because you talk too much and I don't want to like interrupt you all the time doesn't make me mousy. It makes me like the smart, quiet one in this situation. You obviously don't know me.
Okay. You calling yourself the quiet one ain't it either, but that ain't it.
Anyways, I agree. I don't have more to add except for I'm trying to figure out a way to pass all of this down and also have conversations with my friends too who've gone through something similar or maybe going through the thing. Like I want to be a friend that's like making sure that my friends aren't in the dim light either and they believe in themselves. Like
I'm trying to find the sweet spot, like just even academically with my kids, where I don't want them feeling so much pressure they feel that like I can't fail. Like I have, this, I think a lot of women don't take risks because they're really afraid to fail. And that would be so embarrassing. And what would people say? And it's like, but I also want to push them to do their best, you know, and I think that's a delicate balance. But like, I do want my kids to have the psychological safety to try something new and fail.
Yeah.
And I'm going to sometimes I got to remember that a little bit more because it's easy to be like, oh, overcorrect every little thing.
Right.
It's like, you know what? You should feel safe enough to screw that up. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right. I did have one work one, which is just, my last company before Sage Haven got sued by a company that wanted to, quote, take us out before our own patents that we had applied for issued. And there was some really like ugly corporate behavior there. Like I can remember.
You should back up to say it's a thing that companies do, patent trolling, and I didn't know what that was until you went through this. But that's like larger companies try to take out smaller companies when they don't have the budget to take over their business. So they were trying to sue you because they didn't think you had the money to fight it and win, and that a lot of companies fold at that point. I didn't know that existed.
Well, and I had a probably too honest conversation with someone on the other side of that fight at one point, and I'll never forget his quote, which says, "Why do you keep talking about the merits of the case? We are, $35 billion company. You are a $0 billion company. It does not matter."
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that so clearly, and I was just like, I call that locker room material. It's like, you just gave me a soundbite that's going to fuel my fire for years, you asshole.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
I'm
going to Mendoza your ass.
I'm going to Mendoza you, baby. Totally. But it's like, what he didn't expect is me to then find a weird billionaire and do a deal and then countersue. And then, we started fighting fire with fire. And guess who won that bitch 5.5 years later?
That's right.
It took its pound of flesh. It was extremely painful, but, and he left the company before we won the lawsuit, so he doesn't care. But
might have taken off years of your life. We're not sure yet.
Yeah, at least a couple of these are from him. But, anyways, it's a vibe. It's a vibe. It could be sports. It could be work. It could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
It could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a vibe.
Yeah.
All right.
Tech
Moving
tip.
on.
Tech tip.
Okay. I have had success. So I wanted to share something that's working for me that I implemented maybe 5 or 6 months ago.
Okay.
It is world's simplest change. I used to have my phone on my nightstand. I am not quite ready to put the phone in the completely other room. I'm thinking about it. But what I did is I moved it where I have to get out of bed to get it.
Okay.
I moved it to the floor 4 feet away, you know?
Yeah. Still
Now,
plugged in, but far
you should
away.
see me crawl out arms only to like grab it.
I was actually just envisioning you like taking the cord and like pulling the cord. So
yes, I do that all the time. But I created a little more friction between me and that phone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's helping me sleep. The reason why I don't want to put it in another room, and maybe this is again entrepreneurial anxiety or whatever, but sometimes I wake up which what I think is a great idea.
Brilliant. Yeah.
You know, and I could probably jot it down, but then I'd have to turn on a light. Then I'm not a paper person. I've gone completely paperless. So I like to be able to either be like, oh, I got to add that to my to-do list for tomorrow so I can release it. I want to jot down this genius idea I had at 2 a.m. into my notes app. My notes app is so unhinged. You wouldn't even.
No, you would be. It's basically what my low was today with all the random, like, just no one would know how to decipher it but me.
No. This is, you know how some people say, like, if I go into a coma, I need you to like pluck my chin hair or whatever. I am sort of like, if I go into a coma or I die, I need you getting into my notes app and just
deleting it.
Just whatever's in there, just make sure, you know, it's not for everyone's consumption.
Mine is just so random because it'll be like, this is what I need to work on with the 9U basketball team. You know, this is the play that's going to change it all that we failed on. I'm just like heavy into coaching right now. So I think I have like part crazy basketball drills for my next practice, which is so
to me, that can wait till the morning. But
can't wait. And then it's also like part work, brilliant marketing messaging. And then I'll wake up and be like, that's stupid. Some of them are good, but
very few of them survive daylight.
Yeah. But I'm like, this is it. This is going to be the game changing.
To me, it helps me go back to sleep if I write it down and then it's in a place.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to forget.
Yeah.
So then I feel like I can go back to sleep. And I'm pretty good at going back to sleep. So
yeah.
Again, maybe there's a version of this where I have a notebook that serves that purpose.
I was just going to say.
The phone actually moves to my bathroom and I get an alarm clock. And I did even go so far as to put a heart on an alarm clock that I got my eye on called the Loftie. I don't need the wake up with the sun hatch, even though I know that's very popular.
Yeah.
But the cheapy ones don't link to the phone alarm. And I have like kind of a complicated alarm system. I don't want to have to like manually change it on like an analog one.
Yeah.
Because I wake up at different times on different days for different things. So
it's getting complicated over there. This tech tip's getting
but it needs to link with my phone. All I'm saying is move your phone slightly further away from your bed and I think you'll sleep better.
I am having a hard time with that. I think it's great. And I think it would help out a lot if I had a notepad. But there are things that, you know, I still have some cameras in the little one's room and, you know, things that I feel like if I hear something, I want to be able to check so I can go back to sleep. But I'm with you. I think it's unhealthy. And I sometimes end up staying on my phone longer when I'm jotting down a note than I mean to. And then all of a sudden I'm up for an hour and then I'm miserable the next day. So,
well, and like if I open Instagram or TikTok in bed on my phone, I might as well take a match and burn an hour. Yeah. Like that is the time. That's always, and it doesn't make me feel good. It's always time I wish I got back.
Totally.
It's and that's my, you know, I'm not doing that in the middle of the day because I'm busy, but like at night, sometimes it's really rabbit hole-y.
Yeah.
And it's just a little further away. I'm thinking about it more. Okay.
All right.
What's your obsession?
My obsession is, it's kind of a comeback because I did it months and months ago, but it's just that time of year. The Lovesac fur blanket.
This was on your best of, I think, wasn't it?
Best of, yeah. So I've brought it back a few times, but I basically just walk around with it like a cape sometimes when it's really cold. It's great on the couch. When I was eating my trashy nachos on my chest last night, I was wrapped in it. I now have brought it into the bed now too because it's really cold. And, you know, my husband likes to sleep in really cold weather. It's annoying. So he'll have the fan going and I'm frozen. So I have this fur now that I carry and just goes everywhere with me.
Well, one of the great things about that specific one is it has a foot pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And that's clutch for the couch. I don't know about walking around with that.
No, and even in bed, it's too much. I can't put my feet in it. But I really appreciate it on the couch.
It's got tucked in sheets energy too much.
But we have, I've said this a couple times. We have a few, and every single person in this house loves it. And this time of year, there is nothing better. And it just brings me a lot of joy and coziness that I want to pass on again. So I'm going to link it.
It's also trendy. I feel like there's sort of this like aspen fur aesthetic.
Yeah.
That is very on trend right now.
Well, and the Love Sack is my favorite, but we also got a Lola blanket for Lola, and the Lola fur is really nice too. So
Cozy Earth has a nice one.
Exactly. They're a little pricey, but they're worth it. And even if you just get one, it will change your life.
Well, and like I think I've had my Love Sack one for 15 years.
We've had it for a very long time.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your obsession?
Okay, when we were home for the break, Mom was talking about really liking a show called The Pit.
Oh, yes.
Which is Noah Wiley's emergency room, very realistic. And again, I got HBO to watch Heated Rivalry, but it opened up a few new shows, including The Pit for me. So then I was like, okay, let me just see if I like this. I will say this after watching it. One, I'm obsessed.
Oh, okay.
Rip through it. I'm current. I got through a season and a half real quick.
Wow.
Two, it is an anxiety show. Like it's like 24. So the season is every hour is a new episode. So the whole season is one day.
Is it medical? It's medical, right? Okay.
They're ER doctors. So it's all the crazy cases that come in. And like, I don't want to like give you any spoilers since I want you to watch it. But, and it's devastating at times because people are dying Okay. And there's a lot of like, ooh, that's disgusting. It's real. It's like been noted for being like quite realistic.
Okay.
Although so much drama happens in one day that would never be feasible.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I have heard this from other people, so I wanted to give it a go. But our cousin Rachel, who always gives our content love is aligned, I'll say.
Yes.
She has also suggested The Pit. And we were texting the other night because something devastating in Bravo happened where a couple that's been together announced a divorce. It's pretty upsetting. Kyle and Amanda from Summer House, R.I.P. Anyways, I was texting with her and she said, I'm watching The Pit, but her fiance keeps traveling and they watch it together. So she's falling behind. So she's thinking about moving on without him. And I said the same thing. I have been wanting Phil to get into Traders and I'm behind because he is not available to watch with me all the time. And I think I'm about to drop him and move on.
I will say I'm getting to know some of your housewives through the Trader shows. Like Dorinda's on there.
Oh, yeah.
The Not Well bitch got brought up and I was like, laughing.
You gave me a little purse that says Not Well bitch for Christmas and I'm obsessed.
Yes. Here's what I wanted to say about The Pit though. You know how a good anxiety show, one, completely takes you out of your own brain, like you're completely absorbed in it, and moving the anxiety that you have in your own body about whatever's going on to anxiety about something else scratches like an itch, actually.
Yeah, I can see that.
I kind of think this is why people like true crime. It's like a little stressful. It's like, oh God, what's going to happen? Oh, but it's not your stress.
Yeah.
It's somebody else's stress.
Okay.
And so that somehow scratched a dark itch for me, even though it was quite anxiety inducing.
I'll give it a try. I was telling you about Black Rabbit a couple months ago, and the anxiety I got from that show was I was bringing it on for myself. So I'll see if it translates to like passing the anxiety or if it's bringing me anxiety. But I've heard it from a lot of people that I trust, so I probably would love it.
The other thing, when I was at your place, I saw that you had a foot massager under your desk.
Yeah.
And I had forgotten about that foot massager. I had put it in a closet. And when I got home, I got that foot massager back out. My family is obsessed with this. We keep fighting over who gets it at night.
It's good.
Oh, it's so good. Thank you for getting that back in the mix.
Well, I have to admit, my charger broke. Somehow the tip of the charger for this thing, and it's a unique charger broke. So I have to get a new one. So it's not charged right now. I can't plug it in.
Terrible.
And so I'm on the waiting for my charger to arrive so I can get this thing back in
back in the
its
mix.
Good graces. Yeah, it's great though. It's a really nice treat. So we'll link the massager.
Yep. Okay. So watching the pit while I get my feet massaged. Here for it.
Love it. Well, that's a wrap. Please follow us on all the socials. Share this podcast with anybody who you think would also like it. We are growing, but we would love to continue to grow, and rate us. Ratings really help if you haven't already.
If you haven't rated us yet, please, please, please take 2 seconds. Do it. Go back to the App Store page with Sage Sisters. Scroll down. Punch some stars. You don't even have to write anything. Just hit those stars. Okay.
That's it. That's a wrap.
That's all she wrote. All right. Thanks, Tannen.
Lilas.
Love you. Lilas.